Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is the complete Guardians of the Galaxy recap to get you ready for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It all started with the first Guardians of the Galaxy, where we meet Chris Pratt as Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw?
He was a kid on Earth when his mom died of cancer, then he was abducted by aliens, double whammy. He grew up into a cool space pirate, flying around on his ship the Milano, complete with a retro tape deck, so he can jam out to his awesome mix, the incredible oldie soundtrack to these movies. He's been hired to steal some valuable orb, unfortunately some other guys here to steal it too, so Peter's gotta blast his way out of there with his rocket boots, whoa! Quill's working for the aliens who abducted him, the space pirates, the Ravagers, led by his captain/adopted father, the blue alien Yondu. The villain is a different blue alien, Ronan the Accuser. Working for him is another blue alien, Nebula, and a green alien, Gamora, who are both adopted daughters of the purple alien, Thanos. So as Gamora tries to steal the orb from Quill, they run into a talking raccoon and a tree, Rocket and Groot. Rocket talks a lot, always cracking wise, but Groot can only say, I am Groot. They're trying to collect the bounty on Quill, but after this big disturbance, they're all under arrest. In Space Jail, Gamora has a big target on her back because her bosses, Ronan and Thanos, are both very bad dudes. Specifically, the big guy, Drax the Destroyer, wants to kill her because Ronan killed his family. But Gamora's like, yo, I hate him too. I've spent my whole life forced to be a villain by my evil daddy Thanos. I'm trying to run away and be a good guy now. In fact, she has someone to sell the orb to, and they'll all split the money if they work together for an epic prison break. As part of his escape plan, Rocket said he needed this guy's prosthetic leg, but turns out he just thinks it's funny to steal people's prosthetic limbs. And Drax turns out is a hilarious character because he doesn't understand metaphor, takes everything literally. So to meet the buyer, our crew flies to a town called Nowhere. Quill and Gamora start to fall in love, and we learn about Rocket's tragic backstory where he was experimented on to be created. Watch out for that in Guardians 3. Their buyer's this weird guy called the Collector, who explains this is one of the 6 Infinity Stones. In fact, it's the Power Stone, which is very powerful. In fact, normal people can't touch it, it'll just explode you. Just now Ronan catches up to him, Drax goes to avenge his family, but he's way outclassed. Gamora's sister, Nebula, still likes being evil, delivers the stone to Ronan, but now Ronan betrays Thanos and decides to keep the stone for himself. And so it's up to our crew of misfits to save the galaxy. They team up with the Ravagers, and Yondu fights with the super cool whistle arrow. He whistles, it zips around, wow! Gamora goes for the showdown with Nebula. Hey sis, you should stop being evil, but for now Nebula pulls a Loki and yeets herself out of there. And as they're crashing Ronan's ship, Groot grows a protective ball around him. It's the tear-jerking moment, we are Groot, and sacrifices himself to save his new friends. But Ronan survived too, and he's about to destroy the planet when he's distracted by Peter Quill challenging him to a dance-off. Yes, it's so absurd it makes him pause, which is just the distraction they needed to blast the orb away from him. It's gonna tear Quill apart, but they all hold hands to share the power long enough to blow Ronan up, and the day is saved. They give the Power Stone to Xandar, where it's totally safe, for now, and our unlikely group of misfits have become the Guardians of the Galaxy. And good news, Groot survived. Yeah, they saved a twig that's growing back into baby Groot. So in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the Guardians were hired to kill this big monster by these gold people, the Sovereign. But on top of their payment, Rocket couldn't help himself. He stole more, which they do not appreciate. They're rescued by a mysterious space cowboy who pulls a Star Wars on him. Quill, I am your father. His name is Ego, and he's a super powerful celestial. In fact, he is the planet. This body's just an avatar. He used it to fly down to Earth and knock up Quill's mom. So yeah, Peter Quill's got celestial powers, and the long-lost father he's always dreamed of. It's here we meet a new member of the Guardians, Ego's assistant, Mantis. She's an empath, which means she can feel and control emotions, and she and Drax basically become a comedy duo. Meanwhile, Yondu and the Ravagers face a mutiny from their new leader, Taserface, who Rocket defeats basically by making fun of his name. They try to escape with help from baby Groot, who is not much help. They're actually saved by Kraglin, Yondu's loyal first mate, who brings him his whistle mohawk, and it's an epic scene where he takes out all the mutineers in one go. Over on Ego's planet, Nebula has caught up with Gamora. She's still trying to kill her sister, but after she crashes and Gamora saves her, they have a real sister heart-to-heart where it's like, hey, we should hate our evil dad Thanos, not each other. Meanwhile, surprise, Ego's the villain. His goal is to assimilate the whole universe, but to do it he needs a celestial kid to power the seeds on the different planets, and wow, Earth Blue Blobby time! Just then, Yondu busts in to crash the party and reveals that yeah, Ego's the one who hired him to abduct Quill to bring him here, but then he found out he was gonna kill Quill, so he decided not to. To kill Ego for good, they gotta fly down to the planet core, but just then the Sovereign caught up to him. Yondu takes him out by blowing up his ship, but he's okay, he's floating down with his whistle arrow. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all! To fight his evil dad, Quill taps into his celestial powers, and it's an insane celestial fight where Quill makes a Pac-Man. Then it's up to baby Groot to squeeze down to the core to blow up the brain, but he really wants to press the wrong button. But when it comes to it, he chooses right, and boom, Ego exploded. Yondu saves Quill's life, and it's another tearjerker. He might have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy. And Yondu sacrifices himself so Quill can live. Oh, complicated character, but a good guy after all. All the Ravagers fly out for a big funeral, including randomly Sylvester Stallone, and Kraglin takes up the whistle arrow mohawk, but it's got a pretty steep learning curve. And meanwhile, Meanwhile, the Sovereign are still hunting the Guardians. They're gonna create a super Sovereign named Adam. Watch out for that in Guardians 3. But first it's time for Avengers Infinity War. Big Bad Daddy Thanos apparently destroyed Xandar off screen and took the Power Stone. Basically, he's an eco-terrorist, wants to kill half the population of the universe to restore balance. And if he collects all 6 Infinity Stones, he can do it with just a snap. So the Guardians of the Galaxy gotta stop him. But first they crash into Thor, who takes Rocket and Groot off on a side quest. The rest of the team goes to fight Thanos. Drax is finally going to avenge his family, but Thanos already has the Reality Stone. Drax is way outclassed again. Thanos gets Gamora, and she's like, please Quill, you gotta kill me rather than let him take me again. It's heartbreaking, but Quill pulls the trigger, but Reality Stone, it's just bubbles. He takes Gamora out of there. He needs Gamora because to get the Soul Stone, you have to sacrifice something you love, and even though he was terrible and evil to her, he still loved her in his own way. Oh, bye Felicia, throws her off the cliff, and Gamora is dead. Meanwhile, Thor meets up with space giant Tyrion Lannister to forge a new super axe, but they lost the handle. So teenage Groot steps in to make one, living wood handle. They teleport to Earth just in time for the final battle. The Avengers are surprised to meet their new allies, a space tree and a gun rabbit. Rocket teams up with the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, who happens to have an awesome metal arm. Rocket's like, oh, I'm gonna get that arm. Meanwhile, on Thanos' planet, the other half of the Guardians meet up with the other half of the Avengers. They take the fight to Thanos again, and this time working together, they almost beat him. But when Quill finds out Thanos killed Gamora, he freaks out, starts punching him, wakes up from the trance, grabs the gauntlet, and long story short, blows them all up. So now Thanos gets all 6 Infinity Stones, and he snaps, wipes out 50% of the universe. Our Guardians, though, are hit a bit harder. It's more like 75% of them. And so, in Avengers Endgame, it's only Rocket and Nebula who survived to help the Avengers on the time heist to steal the Infinity Stones and undo the snap. They travel back to Guardians 1 to take the Power Stone nice and easy. But as they're warping back, Nebula malfunctions. She's now connected to the same Wi-Fi as her evil past self. She warns her Papa Thanos about the Avengers' plan and goes undercover as good Nebula back to the future. She hijacks their time machine and warps Thanos here, where he blows up the Avengers compound. But past Gamora talks to future Nebula like, hey, we both become good guys eventually. Well, I'm ready right now. Yeah, let's go do it. So Nebula's gotta shoot her evil past self, which doesn't create the time travel paradox, it's multiverse rules. Thanos is still here with his whole army, but the Avengers did manage to undo the snap. So all our snapped heroes are back. Yes, the Guardians of the Galaxy here for the final battle. Notably, Quill finds past Gamora like, oh my god, baby, you're alive. But past Gamora's never met him before, kicks him in the balls like, this is the guy I fall in love with? So after the Avengers defeat Thanos, Gamora goes off to find herself or whatever. But the Guardians get a new addition to their crew, cause Thor, who's been going through some stuff, is like, what's up guys, can I get a ride? So the Guardians show up in Thor Love Thunder. Thor is tagging along on the Guardians' adventures, but he's way stronger than them, kinda steals their thunder. Pretty soon he says goodbye to go off on his own adventure, and for Peter Quill, it's like, good riddance. And there's one last thing before Volume 3, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Long story short, Peter's friends team up to give him a magical Christmas, complete with a present, kidnapping Kevin Bacon. Nebula gives a special gift to Rocket. Yes, she got him Bucky's arm. And Mantis comes clean with a secret to Peter. Ego wasn't just her boss, he was her father too. So these two are sisters, happy family time. And the gang picks up a new furry friend, the psychic talking Russian space dog, Cosmo. And with that, you're all caught up, ready for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. If you liked this recap, hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies.